There are no secrets to success, just things you haven't learned yet. And once you learn them, it's up to you to apply them. I'm Jamaal, aka Boss Eagle, Billboard-charting hip-hop artist and music business coach. Join me as we talk digital marketing, social media, technology, and more, and share interviews with industry professionals to help you unlock the secrets and take control of your music career. Because we are the new music business, and this is the Indie Musician Secrets Podcast. What's up, and welcome to the Indie Musician Secrets Podcast. I am your host, Jamaal, aka Boss Eagle, Billboard-charting hip-hop artist and music business coach here at Business Minded Musicians. I want to welcome you to today's episode where we're going to be talking about the 3 non-negotiable things that every musician should have. But before we dive into that, I just want to remind you that you can stream the podcast from all of your favorite platforms, and you can also download as well. Don't forget to also leave us a rating and review. That would be helpful in terms of moving and pushing the podcast forward. So without further ado, let's dive into today's topic, the 3 non-negotiable things that every musician should have. There are so many things that we have to think about as independent musicians. We wear several hats, and there are other things that we need to have in our music business. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. Don't misinterpret what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I believe that these are 3 things that are non-negotiable that we should have. Okay, so we're going to dive in and talk about each of these individually. The first being a dedicated music website. I just want to send out a quick reminder. We don't own our social media channels. So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, including YouTube, which is not technically social media. That is a search engine, but I throw it in there as well. But we don't own these things. We rent the space. Our goal should always be to drive new fans, new customers to our website where we can control the interaction, where we can make offers, where we can put our music in front of them. We can have those things that we want them to participate in or to interact with. The other thing that we can do on a website that we can't do on a site that we don't own is we can put a pixel on it. You can't put a pixel anywhere other than a site that you own. You can't put a pixel on your YouTube. You can't put a pixel on your Instagram. Okay. And if you don't know what the Facebook pixel is, I won't dive into it too much today. That'll be another conversation for another day. But it's an amazing free tool that you can add onto your website that basically tracks who's visiting your website. It tracks those visitors and it tags them with your pixel. You can specifically target people who visited your site, who've taken certain actions on your site, who visited certain pages, and you can tailor your marketing, your Facebook and Instagram ads around what they've done on your site. You can get real specific with those things. You can also create lookalike audiences. So Facebook can create audiences that look like or have similar attributes to the people who have visited your website based on that pixel. The one thing that I want to remind you of, I know that this is going to make some people cringe, and that's okay. It's okay to be a little bit uncomfortable when we're moving towards having a business mindset about our music. But you are a musician and a marketer. It's either got to be you or someone in your camp on your team. But if you're not marketing your music, then you're missing out. And these are some of the tools that we use to market and promote our music. If you don't have a website, or maybe you've had an old one for a while and you just need to refresh and do something new, I would encourage you to try out Bandzoogle. With Bandzoogle, you can get a 30-day free trial plus 15% off the first year on any plan. You can use the code BizMindedMusic, that's BizMindedMusic, BizMindedMusic, or you can go to bandzoogle.bizmindedmusic.com and that code will already be applied. That's Bandzoogle, BANDZOOGLE, bandzoogle.bizmindedmusic.com. That Bizminded Music code will already be applied. You can grab your free 30-day trial and get 15% off the first year on any plan. And if you're not familiar with Bandzoogle, they are a web hosting company that is built by musicians for musicians. So Bandzoogle staff, they're actually music artists as well. So they had independent musicians in mind when they built their service years ago. All right, the second non-negotiable must-have for every musician is an email list or an autoresponder or some type of email marketing system. I think we have to kind of get over this idea of email being, antiquated and nobody really does email anymore, because honestly, that's garbage. Email is still the single most effective method of communication, and it's actually more connected than social media. Now, I know some of you are super involved on social media. You're showing up, you're always there every day, but the reality is that social media requires the person either to be there at the time it happens, so say for a live, for example, or it requires them to interact with the platform within the certain amount of time allotted before that post becomes kind of obsolete. So with Instagram, it's about 15 minutes. Are your fans always going to engage or interact in that 15-minute window? Probably not. With email, it's nice because it drops right into their inbox. Plus, you can include links, you can include all of those things that you want, whereas depending on which social media channel you're using, there's only certain things that you can do. And some of the social media channels are relaxing some of these things or expanding some of these things for sure. But email, again, is still the most effective method of communication. It's also not as high pressure or as expensive as SMS marketing. And I know that a lot of folks are really trying to go that route. But honestly, how often are you going to text your fans? You're probably not going to be texting them every day or even every week, right? So you may be paying for a service that you're actually not even getting that much use out of. And I think honestly, SMS is pretty high pressure. And I'm not saying that there's not a place for that. I'm just saying right now, where you are, in conjunction with whatever you're doing on social media, or if you're not into social media, like I'm not a big fan of social media, I think email marketing is a great way to go. Also, I think more people are likely to give you an email list than they will their phone number. That's just personally what I think. I could be wrong. If there's someone out there that's like, hey, I disagree with that, please let me know in the comments or send me an email. But I would say that's probably going to be more the exception than the norm. Most people are more willing to give an email than a phone number. When it comes to choosing an email marketing system, honestly, it doesn't matter. I would say just find one that you like. It doesn't matter if it's MailChimp or Constant Contact or ConvertKit or whatever. Just find one that you like that has a great user interface that fits within your budget, and just get started using that. You can always change later. You're not bound to these email marketing systems for the rest of your life. I'll give you two that I have probably the most experience with. The first one being ActiveCampaign. I've used ActiveCampaign for a long time. It has great features in terms of being able to automate and to segment based on the type of interactions that you're having with your fans. So ActiveCampaign is great. And then also Aweber. Aweber does have a free option for 500 subscribers or less. So for those of you out there with less than 500 people on your email list, Aweber might be a great place to go. Their automations are super easy to set up, and I think one of the really unique bonuses about Aweber is that they have live customer service, live customer support, including phone support, even for free accounts. So especially if you're new to this, or if you're like, how do I even start? Where do I even go to start building this stuff out? It's great to be able to talk to a live person. If you want to start with either one of those, I'll drop some links. You can start with Aweber for free. Again, I'm all about saving independent artists money if you can. Although, again, I know that you're going to eventually need new things. You're going to eventually have to start paying for stuff. That's just the reality of running a business. But if you want to start with Aweber for free, you can do that today. Just go to bizmindedmusic.aweber.com, and Aweber is AWEBER. I'll drop a link in the description as well. All right, and then the last of our 3 non-negotiables that every musician must have is an online merch store. Now, notice that I said online. That is the key. An online merch store. Selling merch at shows is great. It's awesome. I've done it. I'm sure you have too. This should be a part of your business model. But let me ask you this. What if you don't have any upcoming shows? What if you have fans in places that you may never play? Or what about this? Hypothetically, there's a global pandemic that shuts down live events, and performing live isn't even an option. Oh, right, that's not so hypothetical anymore. So selling merch online can be a great revenue booster and brand booster. Like, imagine people walking around, your fans walking around all over the world with your hat, your t-shirt, your hoodie. What's nice about having an online merch store is there are ways that you can do it without having to buy anything up front. How many of us have been through that as musicians? You bought this merch for, the series of shows that you had, and all of a sudden 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 years later, you still have a closet full of 2 and 3XL t-shirts. We've all done that. You have overstock, you have random sizes laying around for years that you can't do anything with. Having an online merch store allows you to avoid having to buy anything up front. Every time you have a new colorway, a new design, that's a new product. So you have different minimums. Do you want unisex versus ladies cut? And you'll have to make those decisions as to which products can I even get to be able to sell. Packing and shipping, that's another thing. If you do it the way that I teach, you don't have to worry about packing supplies. You don't have to worry about tape. You don't have to worry about labels. You don't have to worry about making a trip to the post office to drop everything off. And I'm not saying don't have packing parties every now and then, but we're talking about running a business, and we have other things to do in life. And in some cases, and again, the way that I teach, building an online merch store, you don't even necessarily have to handle your returns. The manufacturer actually puts their address on your return label. And probably one of the main points, the way that I teach artists how to build online merch stores, is that you don't have any ongoing fees. That is the kicker. Nothing against sites like Shopify, that's great, but I ain't got time for $40 a month. Do you? $40 a month, that's gas money for like the week right now. That's a huge chunk for a lot of independent artists, and you're paying that $40 a month whether or not you sell anything that month. So that's what I'm trying to help you avoid. So if you want to learn how to get started doing this, how to build an online merch store without having to buy anything up front, without having to pack or ship, or without having any ongoing monthly fees or anything like that, I actually have a new free guide that's like hot off the press called the Business Minded Musician's Quick Guide to Selling Merch Online without paying anything up front or ongoing. I'll leave a link in the description. You can also go to businessmindedmusicians.com, click on the link that says free guides, and you can grab that there. It's just going to be right there on the first page of the website. I have some free guides there. It's going to really help you get started with creating an online merch system that you can start generating revenue from. And for some of you out there, maybe you've been selling merch, maybe you've got a few things on your website or online or whatever. This might be a chance to re-up that, to level up. And for some of you that have never built an online merch store before, this could be a great option for you to start actually generating some revenue for your music. And this can just be something that you promote, and you let people go online and they make their purchases, and it's awesome because it's on demand, it's drop ship, so the manufacturer is going to ship it right to them. You don't have to worry about anything other than telling people about it, and every now and then maybe adding some new pieces. So every episode we have an action item. The action item for today is I want you to choose one of these to focus on today and then move on to the next. So if you don't have a music website, that is your first action item. If you already have a website or you're done with that, then I would say the second thing you need to move on to is building an email marketing system. And then lastly, third, create your online merch store. There's so many resources out there to help you, even if you don't know how to do graphic design or whatever. And if you don't want to do this yourself, if you're like, I'm not tech savvy, I don't know how to do this stuff, or I don't want to do it, I don't have the time, but I really want to have that, at Merch Tower, we can absolutely help you with that. That is my e-commerce and digital marketing agency, merchtower.com. Our primary flagship service that we do is hassle-free online stores, where we'll do the full build out for you, including creating your first 10 items. Again, if that's something that you just want to have someone do it for you, you can visit merchtower.com. That's MERCHTOWER, merchtower.com. And again, that's the full build out with integration, your point of sale, everything connected, and a full merch store ready for you to go that we will actually hand off to you. It will be your merch store. Visit merchtower.com and we can help you get set up with that online merch store in no time. So if you have any questions, or if there are any topics you'd like to have covered on the show, you can send me an email to questions@indiemusiciansecrets.com. Don't forget to rate and review the podcast as well. It's so helpful. I've seen that we have 5-star ratings on Apple Podcasts, so thank you to those of you whoever out there who did that. I really appreciate that. And please remember to share this episode, all the episodes, the podcast, everything I do over here at Business Minded Musicians with any independent musician that you think it would would be beneficial for, because I am very passionate about helping independent artists grow their music career. So thank you so much for listening today. God bless, and I will see you when I see you. Peace. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to follow the Indie Musician Secrets podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen, and make sure to leave us a rating and review. Also, share this episode with other indie musicians you think it would be beneficial for. And for more helpful resources to help you grow your music business, visit us at businessmindedmusicians.com. I hope this episode has served you. We'll talk to you on the next episode.